There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? They're here.
Welcome to the Horror God.
What's up, horror fans? How we doing? Welcome to another episode of the Horror Cut. I'm still Steg.
And I'm still Gary.
Okay. So, just recorded Predator, Predator 2.
You're a predator.
You're a Predator.
Can't say that in Scotland.
Definitely can't see that in Scotland. This week, we are covering From Hell.
This was my pick.
Okay.
What you
It was your pick.
This was my pick. I'm a big fan of this film. If those that don't know and have just tuned in for the sake of it, it is loosely based on the real life Jack the Ripper case.
No way.
Or should I say it's based on maybe 3 different interpretations of the Jack the Ripper murders, and also loosely based on Moore's graphic novel of the same name,
Which you've read.
which I have now read.
Okay.
I feel sorry for this film because I think it gets a lot of shit because it's not being faithful to real life events, but it's also not trying to be faithful to the graphic novel either. But actually, as a standalone film, I think it's a pretty good film. There is a lot of differences from the movie and the comic that it's based on, but I think, you know, just looking at it as a kind of detective horror movie, much in the same kind of ilk as like Seven or Silence of the Lambs, but a period drama. So it's not too bad. There's nothing wrong with like the performances. There's nothing wrong with like the effects, the set design, whatever. Like, if anything, it's a little too long for what it's trying to do, but it's because it's a detective film. You know, detective horror films like Silence of the Lambs and Seven, etc. Along Came a Spider. They're all about the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, you need that time, don't you?
And this is 2 hours as well, so I don't know why it gets shit on so much. So I've seen it now about maybe 5-6 times. Again, put it on for this. Still really enjoyed it. So that's kind of my history with.
Yeah,
with
okay.
it.
I haven't seen the film in years. Like I did see it when it came out. What year was it made?
2001.
2001. I did see it in the cinema. Yeah, I remember just being in it because that was around the time, you know, kind of a little bit obsessed with the Jack the Ripper case, and then went to see it. And I always just remember it being pretty good back then. I think I actually went and seen it a couple of times in the cinema. Interesting watching it this time around. I hadn't watched it in, I don't know, maybe 15 years or so. And you said that, you know, it's a 2-hour long film. It did feel like a 2-hour long film. It did. I felt like the 2 hours. Yeah.
That's interesting because see, we've just come off our recording Predator 2.
Yeah.
And I felt like, you know, after the slaughterhouse scene, the film just drags. I feel like this is almost, it's like just scene. They're really quick scenes, not a lot of scenes hang. There's not like scenes where it's just a lot of dialogue for like 10 minutes. I feel like this moves at quite the pace, but if you're invested in like the conspiracy theories in the film and like, just as you said, if you're a fan of Jack the Ripper, when people are sitting having conversations, you know what it's like alluding to, or like, I think maybe you need to be, can't say a fan of Jack the Ripper, but a fan of like the mystery of Jack the Ripper.
Okay.
That's my thoughts on it, but that's interesting that you thought it.
Yeah, that's
dragged on
interesting. Like you reading the graphic novel, I've always known about it, but I've never actually got around to reading it.
Honestly, the graphic novel is like 2 inches thick. It's huge. So if you think the film kind of is heavy, there's a lot more in the graphic novel.
Okay, interesting. So the film was shot mostly in Prague.
While we do the synopsis?
Yeah, you can go for it.
Okay, When Detective Aberline, a Sherlock Holmes type junkie cop, finds out that, what's the word that they use in this film? The unfortunate women of Whitechapel are getting picked off in ghastly ways. He must smoke some heroin and work out with visions who's doing the killings.
Well done.
Hello, sir.
I believe this was done by someone with a working knowledge of dissection.
He can foresee the victims. He could sense the suspects.
This is ritual.
But for the inspector in charge of the world's most infamous investigation,
Inspector, someone told me you claim to dream the answer. That's preposterous.
where is he? One mystery
There is most definitely a message here.
will lead him to a truth he never imagined.
You are suspended from duty.
I want you.
From Hell is truly chilling. An engrossing, stylish thriller. Johnny Depp. Heather Graham.
Jack the Ripper's not finished.
From Hell. One day, men will look back and say that I gave birth to the 20th century.
But I hope you took a list of the names of these characters in this, because I usually do, but I struggled with this one. I was like, who's who?
I can kind of get this there. I've got IMDb up.
Mary Kelly's Heather Graham.
You've got Mary Kelly.
Polly?
You've got Polly Nichols. These are obviously real life.
Is Polly's name, does she have like a full name?
There's Polly Nichols.
Is it just Polly Nichols, that's it?
Yeah, there's also Dark Annie Chapman, who on IMDb is actually credited as Dark Annie as well, because that's what she was known for. There is Liz Stride is the other one.
Liz, yeah.
Kate Eddowes.
Oh, is there a Kate?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's also Martha. I can't remember Martha's
Martha Tabram.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the one that isn't killed by Jack the Ripper, but is the setting off of the events, is Anne Crook, who is the one who is having an affair with royalty. That's what sets the wheels in motion.
You mentioned Danny Chapman as well.
Carriage wheels in motion, should I say?
Aye. You mentioned Danny Chapman as well, didn't you?
Yes.
Danny Chapman, cool. Okay. Aye. I mean, so me watching it again, and I don't know, I kept thinking of Ichabod Crane throughout the film, Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, right.
Johnny Depp's character that he plays in that, and it's kind of like, it gave me similar vibes, maybe because it was just, I think those two films were quite close apart, close together. I don't know, I think the film does suffer a little bit with having Heather Graham, who's not British, Johnny Depp, not British, in the title roles.
Yep, I agree.
It does suffer
I mean, I think, taking away the accents, I think Johnny Depp does a great job as playing a detective. I really like, actually, Johnny Depp as Aberline and Robbie Coltrane as Godley.
Godley, okay.
I think they two bounce off of each other really well as they're trying to solve these cases. It starts off with Johnny Depp in an opium den, and Robbie Coltrane, Godley, comes in, he's like, get up, and he doesn't move, and he slaps him, and then like Johnny Depp wakes up, almost that Jack Sparrow way, where he's like, hello, darling. You know, it's a bit camp and stuff like that, but I think, again, if you take away the fact that these are supposed to be real characters, real people, because
Aberline, isn't it?
Aberline was like kind of like a podgy older man. There was no like real love interest between him and any of the Whitechapel victims.
Yeah.
That's all kind of made up. But I believe the chemistry between Depp and Heather Graham. I don't believe in her Irish accent. It's pretty bad. But they make me believe that these two characters like each other. I do get that Sherlock Holmes and Watson feel with Robbie Coltrane and Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Robbie Coltrane's not just there as like a kind of big buffoon. Like, he's actually like, he's like a big fan of Shakespeare. He uses all these Shakespeare quotes through it. He's quite intelligent in his own way.
What's the rose quote from Romeo and Juliet? With a rose, if I had another name with a rose, not smell so sweet. It's a line for Romeo and Juliet. He does quote that.
He also, like, there's a part where, like, they're outside one of the victims. The sheet is up. Somebody shouts, "Let us see the body." Robbie Coltrane says, "Typical Londoner, imbued with sympathy for his fellow man," which, that's not Shakespeare or anything, but it's like, obviously the way he speaks is very theatrical, but also I think is saying something like, look at us now, going home and just watching some true crime doc. We're so interested in the grisly and the nasty,
Nasty.
even back then.
Yeah, it's kind of shining a mirror on, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, I think the acting's pretty decent. I think the Nichols boys feel quite threatening as well. Sir Ian Holm as Gull, I think he's playing it pretty decent.
He was last minute.
Was he?
Yeah, Nigel Hawthorne was supposed to play.
Who's Nigel Hawthorne? I recognise
what he's in. No, I'd need to look him up. But he was supposed to play that character, but then died. So Ian Holm was kind of very last minute.
Let me have a nosy at his IMDb. Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
yeah, he was supposed to play him. Ian Holm is pretty good in it. I love the scene where Aberline goes to, what was his character's name in it? Sorry, William Hall? Gull?
What? Sir Ian Holm?
Aye.
Yeah, William Gull.
I did like the scene with him and Aberline first meeting. I thought that was good, and I felt that was my first, like, oh, these guys are kind of, it's a well acted scene. A lot of stuff before it, I don't know, the film just feels quite flat to me at the start, leading into it, and it might just be, I didn't believe the characters. That runs all the way through from the girls, the prostitutes. I just felt like they were phoning it in a wee bit.
That's interesting as well, because in real life these women weren't really friends, but I think that the film obviously makes them friends so that they relate to each other and what's going on, and we relate to them.
Yeah.
So it kind of has to be. If it's just a bunch of strangers getting killed, like, look at any slasher film, all the characters that are getting picked off usually know each other in some form.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what is needed. But I would say that Mary Kelly doesn't seem like she's traumatized by her friends being murdered. That is a problem in the film.
Mm-hmm.
She jokes with, I think the girl's name's, is it the French woman, Ada?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, she steals some of Mary Kelly's money, but comes in and she's just brought food home for them. And everyone else has been wiped out by this point.
There are only two left.
And she thinks that the French woman is coming on to her. She's like, oh, you don't need to pay for your food. And she's like, oh, we'll eat tonight, won't we? And she's like really excited about the food. And I'm like, man, like, your friends are butchered, literally. And you're just like, I'm ready to have a 3-course meal here.
With my very clean red hair that looks constantly shining and clean and washed throughout the entire film. But just to get that bit where it's like, this woman has red hair, the French chick has
brown hair.
Brown. It's just trying to, like, fucking hammer it over the head with that. And she's, yeah, maybe that's it. It's like, Heather Graham, I think she's a pretty good actor on that, but I just feel like, I think she's completely miscast in the film. And it's interesting because the director is American. The directors,
Hughes
Brothers.
Yeah.
Have you seen their filmography before this?
Yeah, it's good.
It ain't fucking Jack the Ripper films.
No, I know.
Menace to Society.
I know.
It's like, okay.
How did you end up here?
How did this film end up getting made with these guys?
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying I dislike it. I don't. But I was just watching it and just being like, fuck, I didn't realise this at the time. But maybe what you're saying, it's getting caught in between the sort of real life stuff, the fictional stuff that Alan Moore's done, and it's sort of maybe getting caught in the middle of these two things. And it's like, where do we go here?
I'll go through some of the key differences then from it, right? So, starting the film with Johnny Depp in an opium den as Aberline, to me, says right away, we're not trying to tell the true story, right? We're also not trying to stick to anything, because at no point in the graphic novel is Aberline taking heroin.
Wow.
At all. That's
okay.
That's brand new.
And in real life, he was not that kind of character. He was probably quite
just a cop.
Stoic guy.
Just a chubby cop that likes the beer. Like,
okay.
Actually, he didn't have as much respect for the woman as well that was getting killed.
which he could probably, I mean, back then,
Yeah, exactly.
1888,
Exactly.
you know.
But he also, Aberlane lived till he was 80,
Okay.
right? And he does not die of an overdose in the graphic novel either. He goes, I think he travels to like Bournemouth, stuff like that, and lives out his days, right?
Okay.
But what's interesting is I think the film tries to make this a whodunit.
Yep.
I think it's kind of obvious who's doing it, right? So, you know,
It's obvious in terms of its being
Gull.
home, or is
Yeah.
it's obvious that it's Jack the Ripper? We know it's Jack the Ripper, we don't know who Jack
we
the
know
Ripper
it's Jack
is.
the Ripper. I think it's a who is Jack the Ripper is what the film tries to do.
Yeah.
They don't cover his voice that well. I think you kind of know. How do you feel? Did you think you knew who it was?
It's sort of, there's no like grand reveal. It's just sort of subtly as the film goes on, it starts to give us a little bit more cues with the voice coming into it, and then it just sort of drops these little, I wouldn't even call them hints. It's just like a,
I mean, they're quite big hints. Like Ian Holmes, like you should be looking for someone who
has medical knowledge of the
says,
anatomy.
So I wonder if like Gill is playing with the idea of being caught. Maybe he kind of wants to be caught because he gives so many clues. Like look for someone with knowledge in human anatomy.
Yeah.
At one point, he's like, he may have such a surgical briefcase like this
Like
one,
this.
and he points to it.
It's almost like a red herring. They'll try to do that so that
I
you
think
don't
so.
think that this is him. But maybe it's in a sense of him, because the film deals a lot with class struggle and power. Maybe this is, you know, they always talk about serial killers sort of doing things that make them feel powerful, try to get one up on the police, sending letters in, try and toy with the police to make them feel powerful. Maybe it's that he is doing this because he's part of the Freemasons, and he's like, I'm just going to give you this because if I get caught, nothing's probably going to happen to me because I'm really powerful.
Well, what's interesting, again, this is a big difference in the graphic novel, and it does hint at it, but William Gill is ill, and he's having seizures. He's got the shakes with the blade, but also these seizures are giving him like this kind of like supernatural ability where he's seeing this higher godlike power, and it hints at it.
Okay.
It hints at it at the end when the Masons basically put him on trial, and he's like, all your rituals and prayers are actually all worthless, and they don't believe that I have seen a higher power.
The great architect.
Yes.
Talks about.
So it goes into like a lot more of that stuff in the graphic novel, and the graphic novel's not a whodunit. It's a why done it. Why are these 5 women being killed? Because in the graphic novel, it's very much from both Aberlane's point of view and William Gill's. So you actually know it's him that's doing it.
In the graphic novel?
In the graphic novel.
You know straight away.
It's like, it shows you him going home covered in blood and cleaning up. He's got a wife in it. And he's like cleaning himself up before she sees it. And he goes out in the carriage with Netley. Who's like,
Netley.
And he explains all about London and like, you know, all the towers in London and like why they're there for oppression and keep people beneath them and stuff. And he has this like higher power basically.
Okay.
It's interesting because Aberlane is older, he's a bit more cynical. He's not the lead in the book, as I said. There's kind of him, Mary Kelly, and William Gill have all got their bits in it. There's no romance with Mary Kelly. He also has no real relationship with Gill. Do you know where he goes to him for advice?
Yeah.
That does not happen in the graphic novel. They meet each other right at the end.
Okay.
Special branch doesn't really exist in the graphic novel, which plays a really big part in this. The kind of supernatural ability that Gill has with his seizures. So do you know at the end, when he believes that he's killing Mary Kelly, that's actually the French chick, he pictures himself being back in the hospital and getting a round of applause and all that. In the graphic novel, his mind splinters and he actually sees into the future. His mind transfers from the past and the future. And he sees that women have rights and they dress a lot like with short skirts. And he's actually then thinks that he's done these women a favour because of how the world goes.
Wow.
And he actually apologises to them as well because by killing them, he's not stopped women having free will and rights.
That's pretty cool though.
Mary Kelly is also kind of troubled. She's an alcoholic. She also sleeps with other women and has sex with other women in it. Whereas that's given to another victim in...
Who's a bit rapey, isn't she?
Yeah. Mary Kelly also has like a male partner who seems to care for her. and it's those two, Mary Kelly and her partner, have a fight, and that's how the window's smashed.
Okay.
And I think that's in real life as well.
I think the window, yeah.
Aberline has no psychic abilities at all, no visions at all in the graphic novel, but there's another character called Robert Lee who's like a medium, and he basically says he falls out with William Gull and basically says he has a vision that it was him that was doing it, but he's actually a fraud and is having no visions and just makes up he had a vision that Gull was doing it, and that ends up just being by chance. So a lot of different stuff in there.
There's loads of different stuff, isn't there?
But I think the film's very much trying to be its own thing.
Okay, fair enough. That's cool. I think there's a lot of characters. There's loads of people who are. It's difficult to follow. I think the film in parts.
See, before you say that, because I think a lot of people, especially maybe a lot of people out with the UK, do you want to briefly explain, or maybe I can do it if you want, but who the Freemasons are?
The Freemasons, who they are,
and not just in this film, but
what
the the Masonry is, because people might not know, and maybe that's why they're confused.
Freemasons, sort of the Masonic secret society, who are still active today. I guess joining now, it's like, I think you have to sort of believe in a higher power. Doesn't matter what it is though. But back then it would have been, you'd just have to have been Protestant, I would say.
You had to be Protestant. You
Back
had
in the
to
day.
also have a job that was of upper classness. So like doctor, police officer, lawyer, maybe an accountant, bank teller, like all this stuff. You had to be someone. And they basically, in the shadows, ran the country.
Yeah, they've got a lot of weight, a lot of power behind them.
And they also, and that's why you had to be of a higher class, because you would maybe invest some of your own money into swaying the government or swaying the country.
And you need to be a man.
You need to be a man. Secret handshakes.
Yeah. Flintstones showed it. The Flintstones.
Yeah.
Remember they did it? Remember?
I do actually, yeah. I guess it's kind of like one below the Illuminati. If you think of the Illuminati, but not as... But it actually exists. I'm not saying the Illuminati doesn't exist, but it's like, it's known in public that this group exists.
Yeah.
My family were in it.
Were they?
My grandpa was in it. A few of my uncles. My dad was offered and said no.
Oh, interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah. I'd say very much. So in this film, they've got sway with the royals. Or I would say the royals have got sway with the Freemasons. So basically the idea in this film is that Anne Crook, one of the friends who's no longer a prostitute in it, are an unfortunate, because she's got a new man who is kind of keeping a roof over her head. Her and her new man have had a baby. And
Alice.
Baby Alice, yes. And then he's coming home from his trips abroad. They're having sex, and special branch of the police kidnap Anne Crook and Albert. And we find out that Albert is actually Prince Albert, and he has syphilis. And it basically means that a prostitute's baby is actually in line to be the queen at some point.
Yeah.
So
On what you just said there.
So let me say, like, the queen has basically turned round to the Freemasons and went, deal with this problem. And they put William Gull in charge of the problem, who then does his Jack the Ripper stuff. And that's the Freemason story in this. And that was a conspiracy of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I can believe that, yeah.
It's my favourite interpretation of it. I don't think there's a lot of evidence out there to
support it
though.
Interesting, isn't it?
Were you laughing at Prince Albert?
I was laughing at Prince Albert. So, on what you just said there, if you can remember what you said describing this film, what does From Hell and Predator 2 have in common?
The Hunt?
Yeah. Both have a sex scene that gets interrupted.
Oh, that's true, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Oh, this one's a little bit more conservative though, and more British. This sex scene's a little bit more love making rather
There
than
is
like
slow motion camera work there, shutter speed slowed down. That's true, yeah. I also think people get confused because they shave Anne Crook's head.
Yeah,
and people don't make the connection that it's the same character and it's the same actor.
Because she's only in it so at the start, and it's really quick. You're like, who the fuck is this?
But this is why, like, I mean, I think all the costumes and the set design are great, but this is why you need to get your characters to stand out.
Yeah,
and that's why like Mary Kelly's got the red hair and things as well, because you remember her.
Yeah. And yeah, kind of like that as well. You're a prostitute. I expect you to be dirty.
I know,
but it's like, but they are making her stand out a little bit.
It's hard. It's tough to get the balance. The conspiracy theory, I think, is the most exciting part of this film, more than the killings. Like, the whole handshakes and the cover-ups by the police and things. I think that's the more interesting part of this film. And if you can't follow that, it can be a struggle.
Yeah, I knew obviously going into the film, because I seen it before. I remembered and the kind of the story of what happened, so I was able to kind of be like, that's right, okay, it's kind of coming back to me. But
because obviously the police constable is kind of racist and stuff like that in it as well. He's like, blame the Jews, it can't be an Englishman and things.
Yeah,
but also, yes, racist, but he's trying to, because he is in the Freemasons, he is trying to put Johnny Depp off the scent.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, what's the thing in the wall? It's something about the Jews, and then it's I have it written down. Obviously, the Jews is spelled incorrectly.
Yep. That was real. That was happened. Real. Did it? That actually happened. Yeah.
Okay. I've got a note here about it. See the scene with Jason Fleming, who plays
Netley.
See that scene where he's telling Jack the Ripper he can't do it anymore. Brilliant.
Yeah, it just stays on him.
Brilliant.
Jack the Ripper comes round and he's like, "Why are we doing it? We're already here," or something. He says, and he's like, "Where are we?" And he's like, "Hell, Netley."
Yeah, hell. Great acting as well.
Yeah,
it's I guess like the first point in the film I felt where someone's kind of getting a scene that's got a good bit to show in there.
Jason Fleming's a great actor.
He's a good actor. He's a really good actor.
And the part where one of the victims gets away from Jack the Ripper, and Netley has to grab her and hold her down. Passerby walks past and he says, "What are you looking at, Lipsky?" That also happened.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. So someone actually seen and kept walking. And I think Lipsky was something to do with, I think it was like a Jewish man. It was on trial for murder, or they thought he murdered someone, but it was nothing to do with Jack the Ripper. So that's why that guy scarpered.
Wow.
Something like that. I'm not a ripperologist.
No.
There is podcasts out there for that.
Yeah.
But it's not for us. But
what was the 80s one? Was it Michael Caine that played Aberline in the 86 or something? I always remember that being quite good. But I think that's the thing, is like, it's interesting it's an American that's made this film. Maybe that's just not having hold of the way
the Britishness
of it. Maybe I don't know.
There is one line that makes me laugh, and it's Johnny Depp, and I don't know if it's just because it's Johnny Depp, but he's walking towards one of the victims. It might be who he thinks is Mary Kelly at the end, and somebody gets in his way, and he's just like, "Out of the fucking way, you cunt!" And it's just funny. It's just mumbles. The camera's following behind. The word "cunt's" in there, and it's very, very British.
Robbie Coltrane holds him back. Godley holds him back when he
gets there. This is when he's walking towards it, though. So the camera's like behind, and he's
on that. How does he know where she is? Because he did tell her, "Don't even tell me where you're going."
I think he's been phoned that there's a body.
Right. Okay.
I think it's just
maybe
the body's been found.
Aye.
There's another funny line where one of the unfortunates says, "Want me to suck it? I can suck the Thames dry." I just thought, what a line. So there's some Britishness in there.
Yeah. A couple of the deaths are pretty good.
Yeah, can we talk about the murders? Because I think they're quite stylistic.
Mm-hmm.
It almost reminds me of, like, I'm not saying this film's on this caliber, but almost like it's a dagger, kind of, with the Lipston knife, it was called.
Lister knife? Liston? Can't remember.
But the way it kind of, like, so there's the Martha character who's walking along, who isn't killed by Jack the Ripper. That's the Nichols. It's the Nichols guy. And the first person that actually is killed.
The first person.
She's walking along and there's like an archway tunnel, and she just gets pulled into it, and you just see the flash of the knife.
Oh man, that's class.
But that's not Jack the Ripper. That's,
okay.
But that kind of stylistic, but it's just shadows. You just see the blade like glistening, I guess, against the street light and the moonlight coming up and down. Is very stylistic, and it reminded me of like films like V for Vendetta or something like that.
yeah,
Do you know,
yeah.
this kind of old London and just it's just it's stylistically lit. It's really nice.
I can imagine that being in the graphic novel. That like I could see that being drawn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was some stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah, let's talk. So there's that murder there. Then there is the one with the grapes. Obviously, they're all using grapes. Yeah, let's talk about the grapes. Obviously, grapes was an upper class thing as well, so they were lured by grapes. Supposedly, and I don't know if this is in the graphic novel, but the directors were hoping to have like Jack the Ripper poison the grapes. You know, he gives
okay.
Right, and they were scared that if they started poisoning grapes, people would do it.
Oh, okay.
Like just as a way to kill people.
Okay.
So that's why that was removed.
Yeah, because the poison we find out as each death happens, Johnny Depp being an addict himself, and it's a really, really good line where Dr. Cull does say to him, he says, you know, it's really only people know what this smells like. Is it, what's the name of the poison? Is it like labinum or something?
Yeah, I can't remember.
And he's like,
but
doctors and addicts.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of like, how long have you chased the dragons, Mr. Aberline?
Yeah,
quite cool. But yeah, we see Depp going down to the body and having this sort of scent and smelling the lips.
Yeah.
And kind of starting to piece it together. I loved when they're in the mortuary, the doctor who's like the
morgue guy. What do you call it again?
Mortuary, the pathologist, coroner. It's just like coughing and spluttering, kind of like it's almost like it's London in the 1800s, like the death and the it's very unsanitized area, and he's like, show him. He's like, I'm not. What I've already looked at the filth twice. And he's like, and he walks away, and it's like, this is really fucking this guy up.
Yeah, he's probably seen a lot of violence and darkness and grime, but this is something else.
Something else. This is something different.
And there's another part where he sees a second body, and he just faints.
That's right. Yeah, he just topples over.
One of them just faints. Yeah, it's so bad.
We don't see a lot. We see sort of. The camera's kind of down at the side, and you see like at one point where he pulls the skirt up and he says he removed
her livelihood.
Which is an interesting phrase.
That's because, like, if I was to get my livelihood removed, it'd be somebody stops me working in the film industry.
Yeah.
So it's like basically even at this, he's still basically calling her a prostitute.
That's godly. It says that as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't think he means it in a disrespectful way, but
sign of the times, isn't it?
I think so, but it's an interesting thing to say, and that's the thing. It's like Britain, the UK has always thought of itself as quite a sophisticated place, but he's like still people getting called whores even when they're dead. They removed their livelihood as a line. You've got Warren, Chief Inspector Warren, who's like an Englishman didn't do it. Check the Jews or the Red Indians. They're disrespecting women. They're saying it's the Jews, maybe the Red Indians. But yeah, from a modern lens, like I showed Steg a video that out of all the serial killers in the world, the UK is the third biggest country with serial killers.
Yeah.
So and we think of ourselves as quite highbrow.
Yeah.
And we really aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think the Elephant Man's in it?
He's in it twice. He's seen him twice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just to kind of maybe show the time.
I think it is. He is also in the graphic novel.
He's in the graphic novel.
He's in more scenes, and actually him and Gull just have like conversations. And
John Merrick.
Gull actually says to him that he's been nicknamed the Elephant Man, but he says to him that in India elephants are worshipped and you should be worshipped. So it's all this kind of otherworldly, godlike architect and things like that. Like when he's introduced to the Elephant Man, it's almost like part of God's plan for Gull and things like that.
Interesting.
So it's in there. So I think it's just. I think for the film, it's just to go. This is roughly where we're set.
Yeah. Okay. It's the makeup looks good. It's worse. Anytime you see John Merrick in like media, he looks exactly the same. The makeup's exactly like as any film, or like fucking hell, that could have been taken from the Elephant Man and just popped in there.
John Merrick
looks
and
exactly
Anthony
the same.
Hopkins.
Yeah.
Good film,
man. Good film.
Yeah.
The whole stuff with Depp and his visions, and the end obviously with Cull having the sort of vision as well. What do you think about it? Because there's the whole stuff with like Depp's sort of Aberline's backstory where he's lost his wife and child to childbirth. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of all that? He in a way sacrifices his happiness to keep Mary Kelly and Alice alive. So he does say that they'll be tracked down, no expenses. To basically say they will keep hunting, and he ultimately sacrifices himself. What do you think of the whole Depp's vision?
The Depp's vision things, it's a weird one because he has these visions, but they actually it's kind of pointless because they don't actually help him solve the case.
No, they don't do it.
They don't really do anything. He sees the visions and then they happen, and then he sees a vision and then they happen. The only thing I think he might see is the listing knife, because he puts that on the chalkboard, and he knows the markings of it.
Yep.
So he must see that. And I think he maybe gets a vision of William Gull, and he works it out, and that's why he goes to his house.
Does he get the? Does he get a vision?
I think he starts to work it out for his visions that it is probably Gull, the way he's spoken stuff, and he sees the red surgical box again.
Okay.
You could have removed it, and it wouldn't have really changed the film. So there you go. That's how you lose 5 minutes of it.
Okay.
But with the ending where Abeline commits suicide, there's various reasons for it. That would be Karen coming home. Some of them could be that the fact that, the cops, the special branch, and the Nichols boys are going to continue following him. So he's going to stay away from Mary Kelly. So therefore, does he just stay at home? But then he could just stay at home. He doesn't need to kill himself. Yeah. I prefer the idea that he's actually disgusted with the cover-up and the promotion that he got through it, and commits suicide kind of out of that. Now, in the novel, he grows old, but the novel starts with him being old. With the other guy I spoke about, the medium, the guy actually has visions.
Yeah, Richard something Lee,
Robert Lee. And what's interesting is they walk on the beach, just talk about how disgusted they are that they got a fancy promotion in a big house, and these women died. So I guess rather than cutting to that, they cut to him committing suicide out of maybe disgust. Okay. Maybe. In regards to the ending with like Mary Kelly surviving and living in Ireland, what do you think of the ending where it's not her, it's dead, like it is in real life, obviously?
The audience assumes that the Rippers managed to get Mary Kelly, and then obviously when Depp has a closer look at that was the worst death in real life, Mary Kelly's death. It was kind of like, it was like an act of rage, this one. It was just all out. But within that, we see that Depp has a closer look, sees that the hair is not red. We find out it's the French girl, or he discovers, or he realises it's the French girl.
Keeps quiet,
goes to, because he leaves a note at the bar, the 10 Bells pub, which is still open.
I was in it in November.
Class. I always wanted to go. Always wanted to go.
It's quite nice inside.
I mean, there must be some pretty cool Jack the Ripper.
Nothing in it. And I kind of think it's more tasteful. There's nothing to do with Jack the Ripper in it.
But I'm assuming there's a lot of stuff in Whitechapel, but Jack the Ripper, there's tours.
There's tours, but there's also a museum. The museum's not great, but we did it.
Okay, cool.
And maybe it's not great because I already knew a lot about it, so I didn't really learn anything that I didn't know. But
all right, fair enough.
It's nice to visit the 10 Bells.
That'd be cool. Always fancy checking out. So that's the kind of reveal. She's left a note with the barkeep to basically say she's adopted Alice, so she's going to adopt Alice and take her away to that little place that she grew up in.
Ireland.
Yeah, I guess it's a nice ending.
Yeah, I quite like it, right? Because how else was it going to end? Jack the Ripper kills her, like, because you said it's an awful end, and it's not really very entertaining to watch that. Then it ends, so I was like, maybe it was trying to do something different. And a big, huge film in Scotland is obviously Braveheart. Mm-hmm. Very inaccurate.
Yeah.
Very fucking entertaining film.
Fucking excellent film.
And then you've got stuff like, Tarantino twists and toys with real life in his films, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Glorious Bastards, and gets away with it, and everybody's like, oh, this is great. Mm-hmm. Watching Hitler get killed, or, watching the Manson family get chopped up. Why is it not great to have a victim in real life died, why is it not great to see imagine she got away? Why can't
Yeah.
we root for that?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and it is a bit more of a positive end.
Yeah,
Like,
totally. 'Cause I guess maybe that's it. It's the whole. It's like, 'cause there's been numerous books on Jack the Ripper of, you know, fiction, and there's been films. It's kind of like, yeah, let's do something different. Let's make this end on a happy note. Let's not make the end that we know happen, which is, yeah, I do like it, yeah, because it's almost, maybe they were just thinking, what can we really do? Because everybody knows the story.
yeah, so it had to have a twist,
Has to
right?
have a twist.
And the graphic novel kind of does a bit of the same twist.
Is that what happens in at the end?
Mary Kelly isn't killed at the end
Okay.
either, so it's taken from that as well. But again, this is what I mean, is like, I think people don't know this is based on a graphic novel. They're just like, that's not what happened.
I didn't know that at the time when it was based on a graphic novel.
Yeah. I'd like to just talk a bit about like some of the filmmaking in it as well, because I think the set designs look great. It's got this kind of, you know, gritty Peaky Blinders feel about it as well. I think it's beautifully shot. The film actually kind of opens with a tracking shot going through Whitechapel. Like, you actually see all the women working, trying to get their next man to come and basically have sex with them. So it showcases them all and their area, their centre, where they all kind of hang about, until one of them goes down an alley and gets attacked with the McQueeds, and the danger just suddenly hits. There's a lot of great choices with camera and editing and transitions. So, for instance, there's one shot, I can't remember which victim it is, but Jack the Ripper's like leaning over them, like cutting them up, and the camera slowly, I think, pulls back, and then it fades to Jack the Ripper fading away, and the police officer coming round and finding the body.
Oh, great shot.
And then it's like the whistles, and then you see all the bodies starting to, like time lapse, but the camera stays still, and you see all these people coming in, and then it finally has Johnny Depp arriving at the scene as well. Daylight starts to come into the shot, and it must have been really hard to do.
Yeah, that was really cool.
There's another one as well. Like, I think it's like a passerby finding a body, and it's like it cuts to the body and a flashlight goes on it, and then the camera spins, and it's a cop with a flashlight, so time has passed again.
Yeah.
And right at the end, you know, Mary Kelly's got away and stuff. Chief Warren's in his office, and basically it's all been covered up, and Aberline's just standing outside, and the two of them look at each other, and Aberline just closes the door on him, and it's almost like closing the door on the case, but as he closes the door, the camera spins to the other side of the door, and it's the cell door for Gil being locked away, and it's almost like even the conspiracy side is now closed, like it's completely finished with, and it's just quick edits like that works really well with it. And the sound design as well for the lobotomy scenes, they're brutal, like, but you know, when it's Anne Crook at the start, and you've got Gil's voiceover, it's like, just a knock to the side here, it's like really posh voice, and a knock to this side, and she'll feel no pain, but each time you hear the knock, it's like a proper metallic crack and crunch, and it's so horrible. But I think it's really interesting that we hear William Gull's voice over the top of it, nice, polite, sophisticated. Then it's ironic at the end that it's happening to him. Yeah, we know voiceover because we know what that means.
Yeah. What was the guy who was doing the lobotomy? What's his name again? Can you remember his name? He was in an episode. Farrell, aye.
Dr. Farrell.
Oh, he's Farrell.
Yeah.
He was in an episode of Luther that he was brilliant in. You ever watched Luther?
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see the kind of film that they did with Andy Serkis. I've not seen that one.
The film was alright, but I remember the TV show and he was in it. He was aye. Yeah, and he's an interesting character. He's sort of the guy who you think, this is him. This is the Ripper.
That's interesting because I think they tried to make it look like him.
They did.
They tried to make it look like the
Ben Kidney.
Yeah, who's the...
Which is a great name, by the way.
Kidney, I know.
You know what I mean? Because a kidney does get posted, and it's like, Kidney.
So he's in the special branch, and they tried to make it look like the other Nichols guy, I think, as well, at one point.
Yeah, but this is the bit he's got the prostitute up against the wall, and then the police comes up, and he's like, what do you got there? He's like, what do I have here?
Yeah.
And it kind of slides back into his...
Like Assassin's Creed.
I know, it's a bit ahead of its time, isn't it? What have I got here?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty menacing.
Menacing.
He was pretty good. I liked him. Liz is obviously quite rapey as fuck in this film. I can't remember the actor who played her. Do you know one of the actors who played? I think it was the girl that played Polly. She died like a year after making
did she?
this. Yeah. She apparently one of these actors didn't have a lot of like formal training, but she just knew what she was doing.
Liz is a bit rapey. So a lot of people are like, oh, why did you have to make one of them a lesbian? Now, obviously I said in the graphic novel that it's actually Mary Kelly that is, I think it's Mary Kelly that brings the French women in that, so they've changed that. But what's interesting about Liz is she starts kissing like the French chick.
She tries to kiss one of the other prostitutes as well.
Holly, I think
is it Annie? Maybe Annie.
Maybe. But when she tries to kiss the French person, she pulls away and she says to her, I paid for your meal. Or I paid for your food, which is a form of prostitution.
Yeah.
It's like, you now owe me. I've gave you some food. So she's almost like acting like the punters at that point.
She's acting like the punters.
Which I thought was an interesting choice to do. They're all sitting in one of their kind of bed sets, and the guy who owns it comes home and hits, is it Darkani?
Yeah, he slaps them,
with a pot. That's not actually what happened, I think, in the real world, but she did have a bruised head in the autopsy, and that's where they're tying that into as well.
Okay,
so
interesting.
Yeah. There's also the part where they're all sleeping against the rope, and the rope gets cut, and they all fall near the start. Do you know that was real? And you used to, if you couldn't get somewhere to stay, you'd be put up in a rope. You'd all just lean against each other, and you'd all be drunk, and that'd be your bed for the night. Is just sitting in a rope would keep you up, so you'd all dangle like this. And that's where the term hungover comes from.
Hungover?
That's where it comes from, is like people just getting steaming and then falling asleep hung over a rope.
That is grim.
Well, there's your fact of the day.
Do you think it does sort of have a good representation of time of what it had been like back then? I think it does quite a good job of that.
I would say so. I think it goes for like more of like a film noir feel for it, but you know, like these women aren't treated nice at all. I would say the sets and all that look great. I would say the way the men treat the women is probably spot on. I mean, we're sitting here as two guys, right?
Yeah.
As well. But I would say the characters make some daft decisions in this, but we don't know in real life why, you know, Dark Annie went from X to Y and got murdered, you know, so the film has to make these jumps, especially when they know like things are happening to prostitutes, like they would be a bit more safer, and these women don't act.
These don't act there, yeah. As soon as they see grapes, they're like, oh, I'll have that.
Yeah, but I guess, so then to play devil's advocate on it, no one thought it'd be an upper class man.
Nah, I suppose that.
If these streets are unsafe and you have to, you know, work the streets, and a man comes up offering you grapes and some wine or whatever is in the bottle, you wouldn't think it's him, and it's like, okay, maybe it's safer with this gentleman than it is standing on the street in the piss and rain when MD could get you. So maybe that's why they're lured as well.
Because they would maybe perhaps see that these guys have got a bit of class about them. They would maybe take care of them a little bit better than the punters who are, you know, up against the fucking fence. It's like, oh, is it in? It's like, no, it's between my legs. It's like, you fucking bitch.
No,
he says, hell.
And what is it he says? He says, I knows it when I feel it.
I knows it when I feel it. Aye.
Also, though, in the graphic novel, and it does it a little bit, you know, when they go into the carriage, like, Gull will ask them a bit more about themselves and why they're crying and what's up with them, and makes them feel at ease. Tells them a bit about the history of where they are.
Okay.
So it's things like that as well. It's actually like it's not until like chapter 3. If you read From Hell not knowing that it's about Jack the Ripper, nothing happens until like chapter 3 of a graphic novel out of 14 chapters.
Wow, okay.
So it's kind of interesting like that as well.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's your favourite definite?
One that we've not spoke about, and it's actually not one of the women, because I think, again, most of the women are killed off screen, and maybe that's also the filmmakers trying to be a bit...
showing a bit of respect to the victims?
Yes, yeah, maybe, because they're not, like, they're all kind of off screen, and then it's in the autopsy or the morgue, or the camera is more on Johnny Depp than it is on the victim when he's analysing the body. But my favourite scene, I don't actually know if the guy dies in it, but I think he does, is the fight in the carriage where Johnny Depp puts Kidney out of the carriage and he flips down and his face gets stuck in the carriage wheel and it gets ripped apart. What do you think of it though?
Pretty good.
It is pretty good. It's like Final Destination, and he's such a dick in it that you kind of like, yes.
Yeah.
What's your favourite?
It's probably between. I quite like I can't remember which girl it is, but that's literally. I think it might be Polly when she's down picking up the grapes. She's like, "Oh, I've spilled them and all that," and the camera's sort of behind them, and you see the knife going out.
Is it not the bit where she sees it in the puddle? The knife in the puddle makes a run for it, and Netley grabs her.
Yeah,
it
and
is.
it's that throat slash.
Yeah, that is Liz.
That's Liz.
Because that's the drunken one who's just like, fuck yous, because she gets into trouble for making the move on the French woman.
Yes, that's Liz. It's between her and Annie, maybe, when she's walking away, and then like it's right after Liz's death, like almost like 2 minutes. You hear she's walking towards camera, and it goes, "Excuse me, miss," and the shadow just walks by her.
Mm-hmm.
Takes up the full entire of the screen, and then it's just revealed that her throat's slit.
Yeah, and you actually see it open up. So that's some like kind of CGI in there, I think. And it looks, it still holds up that scene.
Pretty good, man.
Yeah, and it is so. Excuse me, miss.
Yeah,
and that's because in real life, but also in the film, the Liz got away for a bit, and then there was a witness, so they had Jack the Ripper stopped halfway through his ritual, and that's why he did 2 in one night.
Okay.
And that's why it was such a big thing.
He's interrupted. He is interrupted, isn't he?
Yeah. Every time that Jack the Ripper goes into his carriage and the steps come down, it sounds like a knife. Like see when they swipe a knife, it's like it's very violent. But I guess the carriage was his almost weapon of choice as well, right?
Yeah, totally.
So I kind of like how they make that, and it's got the green lanterns on each side, so that we as the audience know it's the bad one.
Yeah.
And also the visions that Johnny Depp has is kind of like this green tint to them, which kind of matches the lights of the lanterns as well.
And chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
Because I guess he's got the killer being rich in a sort of part of it. He's got the perfect cover. You know, any police try and pull that guy over to be like, what are you doing at this time of night? He's got the perfect for that. He's a man
appointment.
He's a man. He's got complete. He's invisible in a sense, but he's in plain sight at the same time.
Yeah, and
perfect
like
cloak.
We were joking there, like I knows it when I feel it. When a man is speaking like as a gentleman, you just trust that so much more.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I dislike. Do you know how when like in films, when a baddie is revealed to be the baddie, their voice suddenly changes and they start talking really menacingly when they never spoke menacingly at all.
Yeah.
This film does that, but one-ups it by also making his eyes black.
Yeah, what's that all about?
I think like they must have thought, that'd be cool. Nobody will notice. But they'll notice, but they won't notice. But you notice. It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they decide, even if they just made his eyes slightly darker or did something, but it's just, like, there's no whites in his eyes, it's fully black.
Yeah.
And it's a bit ridiculous looking.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me when he's in
Lord of the
Rings. You're like, oh, fuck, okay.
It is like that. It is.
That is kind of like that.
But also, again, like, Ian Holm has kind of, jumped about the horror franchise a little bit. You've got this, you've got Alien.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was kind of back in Alien Romulus, but he was also Scary Stories Around the Fire. He also played Victor's father in Frankenstein in 1994. So he's been in the kind of horror.
Yeah, he's been about.
Horror game, yes. Yeah, anything else you want to say on From Hell?
No, how many grapes do you give it out of 5?
Nice, mate, nice. I would give it 3.5 grapes.
I'll give it 3.
3. That's different from Predator then. We're the opposite way round. I'd be interested to see another Jack the Ripper take on it that's not to do with the conspiracy. Like say maybe a 6-parter TV show or something like that. I think.
Yep. Interesting. I kind of want to buy a book on it now. I used to have a couple of books when I was younger, but I don't know where they've went off to. Maybe see if there's anything new about the Jack the Ripper that I can read up on.
Nice.
They're quite interesting. What's your creative recommendation this week?
the graphic novel. You should really go and read it. But no, it's worth the read. It just kind of opens up this kind of world. So if you do like the film, then I'd definitely recommend the graphic novel because there's more in it. There's more about Prince Albert in it as well, and Crook. These characters are given a little bit more. As I said, it really goes into like Gull and where his mind's at with all of this. It's actually, if you're not from the UK, it gives you more information in London in general at that time and some of the architecture and why it's there. So yeah, I've definitely check that out. It is, I'll give it the heads up because I didn't know this, but the full graphic novel is black and white. So that might bother some people because it can be hard to distinguish what characters who, especially when like, a lot of the men are in like black suits and top hats and all the women are in dresses. So it can be quite difficult at parts, but usually when you turn a page and it jumps to a new location, the characters are named by name. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. No, that sounds good. I started 11/22/63 on audiobook recently by Stephen King. It's not a horror. It's about a man who gets the opportunity to go back in time to prevent the assassination of JFK. I think I'm about 7 chapters in. But yeah, thoroughly enjoying it so far. It's one of, I think it's actually might be up there. A lot of people say it's one of King's best books overall. So yeah, it's a TV show with James Franco in it as well, but I've not seen it. I am currently reading Mr. Mercedes, another Stephen King book, and I really enjoy it. And that's not quite horror, so you know, maybe he was in the wrong genre. He did really well in that genre, but maybe he could write
Shawshank Redemption.
There you go.
The Green Mile.
Yeah.
Stand By Me, The Body, it was called, the novella. Yeah. So you're like, you know, he kind of knows what he's doing.
Well, that's us then. We don't really know what our next episode is.
And we did have I recently watched Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Oh yeah.
So maybe I'll be back-to-back double with H1 and H2. Rob Zombie might be a shout.
We could do that.
Interesting, man.
Yeah,
really interesting.
I really like Rob Zombie's Halloween, and I really dislike Rob Zombie's Halloween too.
So
it's like chalk and cheese.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like he had a lot of input for the first film. It was like, because it's a remake, it's like you have to hit these notes, you have to hit these marks. You know what I mean? H2 is just all Rob Zombie.
Yeah, it's just
all Rob Zombie.
Balls to the walls. Nothing. But yes, if you're loving what you're hearing or just kind of enjoying it a wee bit, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Even if you listen elsewhere, just go to Apple Podcasts and just drop us a wee review. You can follow the show at The Horror Cut Show on Instagram and TikTok, or you can join our Facebook group, The Horror Cut Show, where you can leave your comments and thoughts on the films we're reviewing.
We are back at the old hairdressers on the 29th of March doing our secret cinema. We hope that we will see you all there. You can buy tickets on Eventbrite. Gary?
You said it all, my man.
Good stuff.
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. One day, men will look back and say, I gave birth to the 20th century.
Well, the eye.
Get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.